All right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is 1998, The Tollkeeper Story, a narrative simulation game where you play as a mother-to-be working as a tollkeeper in the fictional country of Janapa.
Mm.
I'm guessing that's how that's pronounced.
The game is not voiced, so I do not know.
Well, I'm going with Janapa. Um, a nation on the brink of chaos, navigate daily challenges, and make difficult moral choices to survive, all for the sake of your unborn child. Now, first thing off, I will say right here and now, Janapa is a stand in for Indonesia uh, because the developers are from Indonesia.
Mm.
Um, because 1998, the Tollkeeper story is a story inspired by one of the darkest chapters of Indonesia's history. You play as Dewey, a
Uh,
pregnant woman.
Dewey, I've also my brain was reading it as Dwy, but
Possibly, I'd like once again, I we need to hear the pronouncement because no one here, even Galax, is fluent in Indonesian.
mm,
I know enough to know that I'm pretty sure Indonesian isn't the language, but yes, I don't know much more than that.
I mean, it's probably a few different languages, but we don't have time to get into those details. Like Javanese comes to mind. Anyway, point is, this is based off of some dark shit that went on during the 1998 Asian financial crisis,
mm.
which I have vague memories of.
I was in second grade when this went down, so don't ask me, friend.
Well, it's like I remember it being framed in the context of like Japan, Hong Kong, the East Asian countries we hear about over here.
Right,
Especially Japan, because I believe that was like ground zero for that financial crisis.
right.
Um, and also, believe that's what officially kicked off the lost decade.
Mm,
But yeah, I also do remember reading that it did reverberate all around East Asia, like all the way down to Australia. Like they felt some effects of it. Um, I remember it coming up in the news when I was in Australia at the time. Uh,
mm.
but it's like I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you what the actual effect was because we're talking about an event that happened nearing 30 years.
Right.
So, um, with that in mind, Petty, what are the details here?
First off, there are some trigger warnings to read off on here. The game contains themes of civil unrest, sexual harassment, potential child loss, racism, abduction, mild violence, and emotional distress. So, if none of those are something you want to deal with, I would probably suggest turning away from this game because, yeah, that's a thing that goes on. As far as your gameplay, you play as a tollkeeper. Where the heck is my mouse? Oh, helps if I don't mess with my controller. All right. So yeah, you play as Dewey, however you want to pronounce her name. And you have a job running a tool booth, and you are fairly close to the end of your pregnancy. Like, I think they mentioned she was like when you early on in the game they mentioned she's like less than a month away from the due date. And like this game is very similar to the game Papers, Please. Only instead of dealing with strictly money, every so often, you deal with or instead of dealing with documents, you mostly deal with money rather. I can word. And then, yeah, you get an amount of time a driver will drive up. Typically, you will get some type of like interaction where your player character and the driver will communicate. You will pick the type of car, give them change if there is any. And then you will print the receipt. And then hit the button to let them go through. And yeah, you get fines based on how well you do. Sometimes like the tutorial does weird things. You will look at the car. You can see like this was the bus, so it does a tier 2, and they did not give me enough money. So you hit the correction button and they will give you more. Or if they don't have it, they'll be like, hey, I don't have the money, and then you can decide to reject them. Later on, you will be given the option to use your own personal money to help cover their fee. Or you can let them through without paying. But there are fees based on that, and it's part of the whole moral quandary going on. Do you help this person get through the toll booth? Do you send them back? And then there are more things going on. Like here, this guy is short on the toll, talking about layoffs and stuff. So, because he would be a class 4 or class 3, he is short. You can ask, and he doesn't have enough money, so you can reject him, which you don't get money when you reject somebody, but you also don't get fined if for letting them go without paying enough. So it's one of those balancing act things. Do you play everything by the book, or do you let some people go through? It's definitely, and how you do that changes a bit on how things go. And then there is more talking and dialogue. This is and then like since he gave me way too much, I can just give him back 10 of his own money instead of having to pull 10 out of my change drawer. And then there are more stipulations on like what vehicles can go through. Like you see the license plate. Later on, there is only even number plates can go on even number days, or odd number plates on odd number days. There's also a scale that gets implemented where if the vehicle's over a certain weight, it can't go through. And then you also meet some of your players' friends. As eventually, like, there's a cat that will hang around your office area. And then, yeah, all in all, the game is fine. It's just a little boring for my taste. But like I could see, like, if you're more interested in something like Papers, Please, then you might like this, or even just like the whole novel aspect or just the narrative aspect of you're just a random government worker probably going through one of the worst times to be a government worker in that particular area's history. So there is that kind of, and to make matters worse, you are pregnant. So, and yeah, sometimes you get people who are assholes. And yeah, that's really all that's kind of going on. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
Not really.
Because yeah, once you get to the end of the day, you'll get your pay. You know, obviously you have to buy food. And oh, here is your player character's husband. Haru? Again, I don't know how this is, supposed to be pronounced because I am not from Indonesia.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes I believe all of the people who come through are scripted. Like there is one of them in the later days where you basically help some people escape a human trafficker. And like this is a like story point where this guy is part of their local football club. So he's five RB short. So I could let him go through. He'll make it to the game on time, and that will affect how things go. So I could literally pull $5 out of the till and give it to him, or I can just reject him. And then yeah, that sends him back, and then this action causes them, to lose the football game. And then here we have the, what you made. And then you can also buy upgrades. There's the calculator, which, okay, you don't really need it for this. It doesn't do anything spectacular. It's literally just a basic calculator. So, if you can't do change, but there is also some later ones like a easier to display setting like inspection mode and stuff to toggles on your keyboard instead of having to click everything manually. And then here after every day there's some like little interstitial moments at home. And without going into too many spoilers, there your husband makes some very poor decisions, and yeah, you can also decorate your little notebook if you want, and like I guess even add like notes and stuff like that. I don't think it does anything, but hey, you can add stickers, and everyone likes stickers, right? And then each day typically adds a new mechanic. Like you can see on the newspaper here, Metro Captain tardiness leads to finals loss. They're also talking about counterfeit money. So due to that, they give me a UV scanner so I can scan money. If somebody gives me counterfeit, then I can have them correct it, and you can also pull money out of your personal wallet. So there is that. You can, pet the kitty, give the kitty some milk, and then, yeah, that's pretty much the most of what's going on. It gets more in depth each day, and then you can see these dollar bills. I pull out the UV scanner, and oh, that's counterfeit. That's counterfeit. So I can have them correct it. They'll give me more bills. They're all good. So I will get him. And yeah, that's kind of where it goes from there. So yeah, I think that's it as far as game goes. Without just me playing through all of it. Do you guys have anything else you want to go into, or do we want to go into price?
How does it compare to Papers, Please?
It depends what you liked out of Papers, Please, honestly. This one, you are just handling change, and then occasionally you're just looking at, oh, how heavy the vehicle is, and then where I left off, you were actually, if a vehicle was too heavy, you were checking them for contraband, which is literally just metal detector. If it goes off, you can ask them to pop the trunk. I never gotten to a point where I had to, where Papers, Please gives you the option to pull out, a firearm. Why doesn't have to do anything like that. So if you're looking for something that's a lot more lower stakes, like I put that in the massive quotation marks as I can, there isn't as much immediate danger to your player in this one as, say, during Papers, Please. But yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. At least for me.
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
All right, what are we looking at for price-wise?
$12.
Yeah, $12 is probably fine.
Okay.
I don't know how long it is. I was a little over 2 weeks in. But eventually I was nearing the point where shit is metaphorically hitting the fan, and getting close to, having the baby. I don't know what goes on after the baby, if anything. So I don't know if there's just a point where, oh, you have the baby, the game's over, or if there is, the story continues forward to that. But yeah, I think that's it for me.
All right, then. So that'll about do it for 1998 here. Be sure to tune in after the break as the Golics reviews Diplomacy is Not an Option.